Good morning, students. Welcome back to the class. And today we are going to discuss the chapter Nelson Mandela, second chapter of First Flight. This chapter is a really difficult chapter for the students to understand in one go. So I would suggest you to go through this chapter twice or thrice in order to get the depth of this chapter. And moreover, this chapter is also very important for this year for your board exams, because last year question was not there from this chapter, though I was expecting in the board exams, but definitely this year you are going to get a question from this chapter. So the chapter name is Nelson Mandela. Okay, first of all, let me tell you, this is an autobiography. Autobiography is what? Autobiography means written by the person himself or herself. Life history. Life history of a person written by himself or herself is known as autobiography. So here, Nelson Mandela, he has described his journey, how he got freedom, or how the people of South Africa, they got freedom from the cruel Britishers. Britishers, they were ruling South Africa, and they ruled South Africa for a long period of time, and few heroes, they came on the way, they fought for the freedom of the nation, and Nelson Mandela was one of them, and finally they got the freedom for their country, for South Africa. So this is totally autobiography written by Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela wrote a book, Long Walk to Freedom, and this is one of a small extract that has been taken from that book, Long Walk to Freedom. So first of all, let me tell you something about Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela, as you already know, he was the first elected black president of South Africa. That was, he was elected as a first black president of South Africa in the year 1994. This is very important date that you need to remember कि Nelson Mandela पहली बार elected black president बने थे South Africa के कब in the year 1994. Okay, before this वहाँ पर एक system चलता था apartheid system. Apartheid system क्या था? You need to understand the meaning of this word apartheid. Apartheid system means racial discrimination on the basis of the color of the skin. Means जब ब्रिटिशर्स वहाँ पे रूल कर रहे थे, उन्होंने एक apartheid system रखा था, जिसमें क्या होता था? Racial discrimination होता था between blacks and whites. So these South Africans, they were black in color, and Britishers, they were white in color. So दोनों के बीच में एक discrimination था, and that was known as apartheid system. Apartheid system really means racial discrimination on the basis of the color of the skin. Okay, Nelson Mandela, somehow he fought for his nation, though he remained in the prison for 27 years, somewhere around 3 decades. Decade means 10 years time period is known as decade. So for somewhere around 3 decades, he remained in prison, and he fought for the rights of South African, and finally in the year 1994, he was able to get that freedom, and he was able to abolish apartheid system from South African soil. Second important thing is that जैसे कि we call Mahatma Gandhi as the father of nation. Indians, they call Mahatma Gandhi as a father of nation. Similarly, South African people, they call Nelson Mandela as a father of the nation. So, father of the nation for South Africa is Nelson Mandela, like we have father of the nation for India, Mahatma Gandhi. Okay, so this is an autobiography of Nelson Mandela in which he is describing about a long journey that he traveled in order to get the freedom or in order to get the rights for their countrymen. So what happens here is in the year 1994 जब उनको फ्रीडम मिली थी और नेल्सन मंडेला ने ओथ ली थी एज द फर्स्ट इलेक्टेड ब्लैक प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ साउथ अफ्रीका, सो उस टाइम फर्स्ट डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट बनी थी साउथ अफ्रीकन सॉइल में, साउथ अफ्रीकन सॉइल पर, एंड उनका अपना कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बना था. ब्रिटिशर्स चले गए थे वहाँ से, दे threw away the Britishers from their land and they had their own democratic government at that time, because the first democratic government was framed in the year 1994. So here in this chapter, Nelson Mandela is describing about different events that took place during that period of time. नेल्सन मंडेला उन सब के बारे में बताते हैं कि किस तरीके से साउथ अफ्रीका में क्या हुआ, कौन कौन हीरोज आए, व्हाट दे डिड, हाउ दे फॉट फॉर द नेशन, व्हाट दे डिड, एंड फाइनली लाइक 10th May 1994, that was the golden day for South African soil. उसी दिन इनको फ्रीडम मिली थी, उसी दिन अपार्थेड सिस्टम एबॉलिश हुआ था, उसी दिन इनकी फर्स्ट डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट फ्रेम हुई थी, उसी दिन इनका कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन बना था और उसी दिन इनकी सारी एक नया साउथ अफ्रीका बनकर लोगों के सामने आया था. सो दे हियर ही इज डिस्क्राइबिंग अबाउट ऑल दीज थिंग्स. So now we will talk about the chapter. I will explain you the chapter and I will explain you, or I will give you the meaning of the difficult words here. 10th May, it was the important day for the history of South Africa. 10th May, down bright and clear. It was the spring season and the description is given of 10th May 1994, जिस दिन उनकी डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट बनी थी, जिस दिन नेल्सन मंडेला को ओथ लेनी थी एज अ फर्स्ट ब्लैक प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ साउथ अफ्रीका. For the past few days, I had been pleasantly besieged by dignitaries and world leaders who were coming to pay their respect before the inauguration. Now what happens here is, अब डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट बननी थी इनको ओथ लेनी थी, और all high profile people or aristocrat people, means high profile dignitaries from all over the world, they were coming to the South African soil in order to pay tribute to this great leader or the first black president of South Africa, नेल्सन मंडेला को ट्रिब्यूट देने के लिए और उनको रिस्पेक्ट देने के लिए they all were coming. The inauguration would be the largest gathering ever international leaders on South African soil. आज से पहले कभी भी इतने great leaders from all over the world, they never came to South African soil. This was for the first time in the South African history कि लोग वहाँ पर आ रहे थे, and in order to pay respect to this great personality, this Nelson Mandela, because he did a fantastic task or fantastic thing for the South African soil कि उसने apartheid system को abolish किया और पहला elected leader बना वहाँ का, president South Africa का बना, and that day was 10th May 1994, जिस दिन इस बंदे को oath लेनी थी और इसको first elected democratic government का president choose किया गया था. The ceremonies took place in the lovely sandstone amphitheater formed by the Union Building in Pretoria. Pretoria is a place, amphitheater क्या होता है, एक open space, जैसे कि आप मैच देखने के लिए जाते हो वहाँ पर open area रहता है. Similarly, this amphitheater was an open area जहाँ पर सारे dignitaries all over the world, they were coming in order to pay respect to this Nelson Mandela, because he was going to take oath on that particular day, and the day was 10th May 1994, and it was the spring season, and that oath or that function or that ceremony was going to take place in Pretoria. Pretoria is a place, वहाँ पर amphitheater means the open space था, जो open area था, वहाँ पर वो oath ceremony होनी थी. For decades, this had been the seat of white supremacy, and now it was the site of the rainbow gathering of different colors and the nations of the international or South African first democratic non-racial government. अब यहाँ पे कोई racial discrimination नहीं है, non-racial government बन चुकी है और यहाँ पर all over the world से high profile people, dignitaries, they were coming in order to pay respect to this man. On that lovely autumn day, it is the autumn day, I was accompanied by my daughter Zinani. अब ये क्या करते हैं, नेल्सन मंडेला अपनी बेटी के साथ, जिनानी जिसका नाम है, उसके साथ पहुंचते हैं. कहाँ पर पहुंचते हैं? ऑन दी पोडियम. पोडियम पल्पिट, पल्पिट भी कहते हैं इसको. ही रीच टू द मेन स्टेज, पोडियम पर जाते हैं. मिस्टर डी क्लार्क वॉज द फर्स्ट स्worn इन दी एज सेकेंड डिप्टी प्रेसिडेंट. वहां पर और भी लोगों को ओथ लेनी है. दीज नेम्स यू नीड टू रिमेंबर बिकॉज ये नेम्स आ जाते हैं काफी बार ऑब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस में. यू नेवर नो, इट मे कम इन द फॉर्म ऑफ क्वेश्चन आंसर्स, इट मे कम इन द फॉर्म ऑफ ऑब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चंस टू. सबसे पहले मिस्टर डी क्लार्क को ओथ लेनी है, शपथ लेनी है एज अ सेकेंड डिप्टी प्रेसिडेंट. देन उसके बाद द सेकेंड पर्सनैलिटी इज, हु इज द सेकेंड पर्सनैलिटी after this he is talking about? Okay, the next person is Thabo Mbeki, was sworn in as the first deputy president. इसको first deputy president है, Thabo को लेनी है. Then it was the turn of Nelson Mandela as a first black president of South Africa. उसको उसकी oath लेनी है. To the assembled guest and the watching world. अब नेल्सन मंडेला यहाँ पर अपना स्पीच देते हैं. अपने स्पीच में ये कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स कवर अप करेंगे. Those are very important questions. You need to keep in mind all these questions. I said, इन्होंने कहा, today all of us do by our presence here confer glory and the hope to newborn liberty. कहता है कि आज हमको न्यूबॉर्न लिबर्टी मिली है. आज हम लोगों को ये लिबर्टी मिल चुकी है. एक कंट्री का नया जन्म हुआ है, साउथ अफ्रीका का, बिकॉज आज ब्रिटिशर्स यहाँ से चले गए हैं और हमने अपना खुद का प्रेसिडेंट चूज किया है. नाउ वी हैव आवर ओन कंट्री, ओन नेशन, एंड अपार्थाइड सिस्टम हैज बीन abolished फ्रॉम हियर forever. Okay, out of the experience of an extraordinary human disaster that lasted too long, must be born a society of which all humanity will be proud. कहता कि यहाँ पर इतने टाइम से ब्रिटिशर्स रूल कर रहे थे, आज वो चला गया और आज हमारे यहाँ पे नॉन रैशियल गवर्नमेंट बनी है. हर किसी को इसके ऊपर गर्व करना चाहिए. ह्यूमैनिटी को, इंसानियत को इसके ऊपर गर्व करना चाहिए. साउथ अफ्रीकन्स को. वी who were outlaws not so long ago have today been given the rare privilege to be host to the nation of the world on our own soil. कहता कि अभी तक हमको आउटलॉज कंसीडर किया जाता था, लेकिन आज ये जमीन हमारी है, आज ये मिट्टी हमारी है, आज ये धरती हमारी है. वी थैंक all of our distinguished international guests for having come to take possession with the people of a country of what is after all common victory for justice. कहता है कि मैं सभी को थैंक यू कहता हूँ, जितने भी डिग्निटरीज आए हैं ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड से, और आज ये जीत हुई है, विक्ट्री फॉर जस्टिस. सही जीत हुई है हमारे देश की, जस्टिस की जीत हुई है, पीस की जीत हुई है, ह्यूमैनिटी की जीत हुई है, इंसानियत की जीत हुई है. ठीक है. कहता है वी हैव एट लास्ट अचीव आवर पॉलिटिकल. कहता है कि लास्ट में हमने क्या कर लिया है, हमने अपनी खुद की गवर्नमेंट फ्रेम कर ली है. वी हैव फ्रेम्ड आवर ओन गवर्नमेंट. एमेंसिपेशन. We pledge ourselves to liberate all our people from the continuing bondage of poverty. कहता अब हमारा नेक्स्ट काम है, हमें पॉवर्टी से लोगों को बाहर निकालना है, डेप्रीवेशन से बाहर निकालना है, सफरिंग से बाहर निकालना है, जेंडर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन से एंड अदर डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. अब मुझे वो सारी चीज़ें भी ख़त्म करनी है. हमने अपने देश को तो आज़ाद करा ही लिया है, अब पॉवर्टी को भी ख़त्म करना है. डेप्रीवेशन, सफरिंग्स, जेंडर और बाकी के डिस्क्रिमिनेशन अगर कोई है, सो वी नीड टू एबॉलिश दोज डिस्क्रिमिनेशंस आल्सो. नेवर 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 अगेन, कभी नहीं होगा. शैल इट बी दिस ब्यूटीफुल लैंड विल अगेन एक्सपीरियंस द ऑपरेशन ऑफ वन बाय अनदर. कहता है इस धरती पर आज के बाद कभी ऑपरेशन एक बंदा दूसरे बंदे से सहन नहीं करेगा. द सन शैल नेवर सेट ऑन द ग्लोरियस अ ह्यूमन अचीवमेंट. लैट फ्रीडम लाइन गॉड ब्लेस अफ्रीका. और ये अपनी कंट्री को, अफ्रीका को ब्लेस करते हैं और ये अपने इसमें स्पीच में ही इज सेइंग ऑल दीज काइंड्स ऑफ थिंग्स. इसके बाद नेल्सन मंडेला कहते हैं अ फ्यू मोमेंट्स लेटर, तभी क्या हुआ, वहां पर एवरी वन इज पेइंग रिस्पेक्ट टू दिस ग्रेट पर्सनैलिटी नेल्सन मंडेला. वहां पे सॉन्ग्स गाए जा रहे हैं, जेट प्लेन्स ऊपर से निकल रहे हैं, ठीक है. दे आर like jet planes, they are paying tribute to this great leader of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. और वहाँ पर ये अपने the day was symbolized for me by the playing of our two national anthems. वहाँ पे दो national anthems गाए गए हैं and the vision of white singing. ठीक है, वहाँ पर national anthems भी in order to pay respect to the nation को respect. On the day of the inauguration वाले दिन I was overwhelmed with a sense of history. कहता मैं बहुत खुश हूँ आज कि जो ये हिस्ट्री हमारा पास्ट होकर आया है. In the first decade of the 20th century, a few years after the bitter Anglo-Boer war, the before my own birth. कहता कि उससे पहले जो Anglo-Boer war चल रहा था मेरे birth से पहले, the white-skinned peoples of South Africa patched up their differences and erected a system of racial domination against the dark-skinned people of their own land. कहता कि white लोग आए और इन्होंने क्या किया, यहाँ पर apartheid system start किया, means racial discrimination on the basis of color of their skin, means difference between whites and the blacks. वो system यहाँ पर चालू हो गया था. The structure they created formed the basis of one of the harshest, most inhuman societies the world has ever known. Now in the last decade of the 20th century and my own 8th decade as a man. कहता है कि आज मेरा भी 8th decade है as a man और इतने टाइम से हम लोग इस racial discrimination में apartheid system से जूझ रहे थे. हम लोगों को outlaws consider किया जा रहा था. अब ये सारी चीज़ें ख़त्म हो जाएंगी and we will work for the betterment of our nation South Africa. हम इसके लिए करेंगे और ऐसा discrimination apartheid system जैसा इस धरती पर दोबारा से कभी नहीं आएगा. These all points he covered in a speech. वो अपने speech में ये सारे points को cover up कर रहे हैं. Okay, apart from this, he also remembered the people, those who sacrificed their life for the freedom of their nation, South Africa. कहता है कि also, I want to pay tribute to the people who started this fight for the freedom, but the decades of oppression and brutality had another unintended effect, and that was that it produced the Oliver Tambo's. अब इसने कौन कौन से great leaders पैदा किए थे? Oliver Tambo's, Walter Sisselus, the Chief Luthulus, the Yusuf Dedus, the Bram Fishers, the Robert Spicovers of our time, men of such extraordinary courage. कहता कि इन्होंने ये सारे great personality, इनकी यहाँ पे pictures दी गई हैं सभी की, ये great leaders थे जिन्होंने की start की थी fight for the freedom of South Africa, though they have sacrificed their life. and कहता है कि आज टाइम है हमें कि हमने उनसे सीखा है कि what is courage. and this is a very important question, what is courage as per Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela के हिसाब से what is the meaning of courage? तो Nelson Mandela कहते हैं the definition of courage for Mandela was to win and attain victory over fear. कहता मेरे हिसाब से करेज क्या है? करेज इज नथिंग, इट इज विक्ट्री ओवर फियर. हमारे डर के ऊपर जो जीत है, दैट इज नोन एज करेज. अब मेरे हिसाब से नेल्सन मंडेला कहते हैं, ठीक है, द एब्सेंस ऑफ फियर वॉज नॉट द मीनिंग ऑफ बीइंग करेजियस. कहता है कि एब्सेंस है किसी इंसान के अंदर, उसका मतलब ये नहीं कि वो करेजियस है. ही और दैट मैन शुड कंसिडर्ड टू बी ब्रेव व्हेन दे हैव द करेज टू कॉन्कर फियर. कि उसके अंदर जब कॉन्कर करने की क्षमता है, करेज को, वो फियर को जीत सकता है, दैट इज करेज. कहता है कि अकॉर्डिंग टू नेल्सन मंडेला ही वांटेड टू से अ कंडीशन इन विच सोसाइटी वेयर द मैन वुड बी फियरलेस. कहता है कि मेरा कहने का मतलब ये नहीं कि एक ऐसी कंडीशन जहाँ पे लोग डरे नहीं, उसको हम करेज कहेंगे. तो लिटरली द मीनिंग ऑफ द वर्ड करेज एज पर नेल्सन मंडेला, ही सेज दैट ही लर्न फ्रॉम दिस ग्रेट लीडर्स. ही सेज करेज मीन्स victory over fear. डर के ऊपर जीत है, that is known as courage. That Nelson Mandela learned from these great leaders, those who have sacrificed their life for the freedom of their nation. So that was the meaning of the word freedom as per Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela इसमें और भी कुछ पॉइंट्स कवर अप करते हैं. दैट इज अगेन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स. नेल्सन मंडेला कहते हैं दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ करेज मीन्स विक्ट्री ओवर फियर. दैट इज करेज as per Nelson Mandela that he has learned from the great leaders, those who have sacrificed their life for the freedom of the nation. Second thing कहते हैं what is being free as per Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela कहते हैं free का मतलब क्या है. What is being free as per Nelson Mandela as a boy and a student. तो कहते हैं कि as a boy, for me, freedom means to run in the fields. Fields में भागना, दौड़ना. नियर माई मदर्स हट, मेरी मम्मा के घर के पास जो फील्ड है, जो खेत है, उसमें मैं फ्रीली दौड़ूं. दैट इज फ्रीडम एज अ बॉय. कहता है फ्री टू स्विम, मैं फ्रीली स्विम करूं इन द क्लियर स्ट्रीम्स, नदियों में मैं तैरूं विदाउट एनी फियर, बिना किसी डर के. दैट रेन थ्रू माई विलेज, जो मेरे विलेज के बगल से होके जो नदियाँ झरने बहते हैं, मैं उसमें फ्रीली स्विम करूं. एंड टू फ्री टू रोस्ट मिलीज अंडर द स्टार्स, और कहता है रात में जब स्टार्स चमक रहे हैं उसमें मिलीज को मैं रोस्ट करूं. दैट इज अ फूड. मिलीज को रोस्ट करूं एंड उसके साथ में क्या करूं, जो बुल्स हैं, बुल्स के ऊपर जो ब्रॉड बैक्स ऑफ स्लो मूविंग बुल्स हैं, उनके ऊपर मैं राइड करूं. दैट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ फ्री और फ्रीडम as a boy for Nelson Mandela. But as a student, what he wanted to convey to the readers in his book A Long Walk to Freedom, what he says, कहता है कि as a student, मेरे हिसाब से freedom is transitory freedom of being able to stay out at night. रात को घर से बाहर रहें, ठीक है, and वो पढ़ें and read whatever please to us and we can go anywhere where we wanted to go. तो as a student तीन चीज़ें वो चाहते हैं. Freedom to stay out of the home during night time. Secondly, read whatever the person pleased to and go anywhere where the person wanted to go. So that is freedom as per Nelson Mandela as a boy and as a student. Courage, I have already told you. Freedom, I have already told you. The third very important question comes in this chapter. What are twin obligations? Obligation का मतलब होता है responsibilities. कहता है कि twin obligation क्या है as per Nelson Mandela, जो कि अपने speech में he is describing about the twin obligation means the twin responsibilities of a human being, कि उसकी लाइफ में दो responsibilities क्या होनी चाहिए, that Nelson Mandela talks about. And these are very important short answer questions you may get in your paper also. कहता है so as per Nelson Mandela, twin obligations are. First obligation क्या बताते Nelson Mandela? That every man has obligation to his family, उसकी family के लिए, to his parents, to his wife and children. हर इंसान की पहली रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी होनी चाहिए उसकी फैमिली के लिए, उसके पेरेंट्स के लिए, उसकी वाइफ के लिए, उसके बच्चों के लिए. And the second obligation that Nelson Mandela talks about, every man has an obligation to his people, to his community and to his country. पहली obligation में वो बात करते हैं first obligation related to family, parents, wife and children. Second obligation related to people, community and the country. He talks about these twin obligations in his speech and he is trying to tell these twin obligations to the people of South Africa, those whosoever is sitting there in the amphitheater and all the dignitaries from all over the world. And he is talking about courage. Courage kya hai? That he has learned. Victory over fear. He's talking about freedom as a student and as a boy. And he's talking about twin obligation in a person's life, what he or she needs to do in his or her life. Aage. So after talking about twin obligations, like he is saying to the people of South Africa, I was not born with a hunger to be free. कहता कि मैं हंगर के साथ नहीं पैदा हुआ कि फ्री की. I was born free. मैं फ्री पैदा हुआ था. गॉड सभी को फ्रीली पैदा करते हैं इस धरती के ऊपर. फ्री इन एवरी वे दैट आई कुड नो. मुझे हर तरीके से फ्रीडम चाहिए. लेकिन these whites, they curtailed that freedom because they like what they started apartheid system here. So that is freedom as per Nelson Mandela, that he wanted to tell to the people that, as I have already told you, freedom as per Nelson Mandela, as a boy and as a student. As a boy, what he can do, he can run freely in the fields near his mother's hut. He can freely swim in the stream that passes through his village. He can roast millies under the stars and can ride on the broad backs of the slow moving bulls. And as student, he has already discussed in his speech, as a student, he can go anywhere where he wanted to go. He can read anything, whatever he wanted to read, and he can stay out during nighttime. So that was freedom as per Nelson Mandela. So these are very important things that Nelson Mandela described in his speech that he wanted to convey to the people of South Africa. But then I slowly saw that not only was I not free, but my brothers and sisters was not free. कहता है कि जब मैं थोड़ा बड़ा हुआ, समझदार हुआ, उस समय मैंने realize किया कि मैं ही नहीं, मेरे brothers and sisters कोई भी free नहीं है. I saw that it was not just my freedom. सिर्फ मेरी freedom की बात नहीं, that was curtailed, जो कि रोक दी गई है, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did, जो मेरे जैसे दिखते हैं, सभी की freedom पर रोक लगा दिया गया है. That is when I joined the African National Congress. उसके बाद इसने क्या किया? African National Congress को join किया, and that is when the hunger for her own freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom. और कहता है कि जो मेरी hunger थी freedom की, वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा high level ले लिया उस freedom ने, और मुझे इच्छा हुई कि मैं उस freedom को अपने देश के लिए पाकर ही रहूँगा anyhow. कहता है कि मुझे अपने देश के लिए, अपने लोगों के लिए फ्रीडम लानी थी. इट वॉज द डिज़ायर ऑफ द फ्रीडम ऑफ माई पीपल टू लिव देयर लाइफ विद डिग्निटी एंड सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट. मैं चाहता था कि हर कोई अपनी डिग्निटी, अपनी इज्जत के साथ अपनी लाइफ जिए और रिस्पेक्ट के साथ जिए. दैट ट्रांसफॉर्म्ड अ फ्राइटेंड यंग मैन इनटू अ बोल्ड वन. और इसी वजह से मैं डरा हुआ, सहमा हुआ सा सॉरी, जो एक बंदा था, मैं एक बोल्ड पर्सनैलिटी में कन्वर्ट हो गया. दैट ड्रोव अ लॉ अबाइडिंग attorney to become a criminal, that turned a family loving husband into a man without a home. मैं इसलिए अपने आप को मैंने change कर लिया because I wanted the freedom of my nation. But I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedom I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. जब कोई भी free नहीं था. Freedom is indivisible. कहता है कि freedom किसी से छीनी नहीं जा सकती. The chains on any one of my people were the chains on all of them. The chain on all of my people were the chains on me. कहता लोगों के लिए चेन पड़ी हो या मेरे लिए पड़ी हो, it's vice versa, it's one and the same thing. I knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. कहता कि oppressor और oppressed दोनों को ही हटाना. A man who takes away another man's freedom, जो इंसान दूसरे की freedom को छीन लेता, is a prisoner of hatred. वो नफरत का बंदा है. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. ठीक है, I'm not truly free if I'm taking away someone else's freedom. कहता मैं खुद भी free नहीं हूँ अगर मैं दूसरे की freedom को छीन लेता हूँ. Just as surely I'm not free when my freedom is taken from me. जैसा कि अगर मेरी freedom ली जाएगी तो मैं free नहीं है. The oppressed and the oppressor are like the robbed of the humanity. कहते ऐसे oppressor को और ऐसे oppressed personality को वो दुश्मन है इंसानियत के. So here we talk about few important points. That was the chapter all about. This is an autobiography of Nelson Mandela in which he is describing about his own experience, and he is giving a speech to all the dignitaries all over the world, and what he included in his speech, like all who took oath, what is freedom according to him, what is courage according to him, what is twin obligation, what he did for his nation, and why this 10th May 1994 is an important day for South African soil. Because on that day, क्या हुआ था? Because on this particular day, the first democratically elected government of South Africa was established. उस दिन हुई थी. It was for the first time that the non-racial government elections were held in South Africa, and Nelson Mandela was the first black president to be elected democratically from South Africa. So that's why this 10th May was important day for South African soil. ठीक है, apartheid system, I have already told you these important questions I have already discussed with you, and these And so important questions जो इस chapter से बनते हैं, that let me remind you once again, what did being free mean to Mandela as a boy and as a student? क्या था उनका मतलब as a boy and a student? Nelson Mandela का being free, that we have already discussed. What is courage as per Nelson Mandela? What are twin obligations as per Nelson Mandela? Why 10th May 1994 was an important day for South African soil? What do you understand by the term apartheid? इसका क्या मतलब है? So these all are the important points, and a very important question, character sketch of Nelson Mandela, a long answer question in which you can include all these things, means being free, twin obligation, courage, 10th May, his speech, what he talked about oppressed people, or you can include these great leaders who sacrificed their life for the freedom of the nation. So that was the chapter all about. If you have any doubt, you can write in the comment box, or you can send me personally, and I will clear all your doubts, because this is one of the tough chapters. So you need to go through this chapter twice or thrice in order to get the depth of this chapter. Only then you can get the real depth of this chapter, what Nelson Mandela is trying to tell through his autobiography, that A Long Walk to Freedom, written by Nelson Mandela. And this is a small extract that has been taken from that book, Long Walk to Freedom. So I will be sending you more videos of all the chapters of class 10th. So if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe the channel so that you can get each and every detail from my end regarding your board exams this year for 2020-21. And for any doubts, please leave your comment, or you can send me your details. I will get back to you. Till then, bye-bye. We will meet soon with a new video, with a new chapter. That's the third point, A Tiger in the Zoo. Till then, bye-bye. Take care.